Singularity is a first-person shooter developed by Raven Software and released in 2010. It was released to a rather average to decent review scores but didn't sell very well compared to other games at the time. Just a heads up, my playthrough and footage was taken off of a PS3, which isn't great at running games that use the Unreal Engine, but it was playable. Before I get into this critique, here's a quick overview of the game in case you want to play through it yourself before watching. You're an American soldier sent to investigate a strange occurrence that caused a satellite to go down over an island called Katorga 12, an island that shouldn't really exist and is unknown to the rest of the world. When arriving, there is an incident that deals with some time shifts to make the character go from present time to 1955 and back again over the course of the game. If that sounds interesting to you, I recommend spending a few dollars to play this, preferably on PC if you're able to get it to run, or Xbox 360, and then watch the video so the story isn't spoiled for you, as this is the best part of the game.
1945, the Soviet Union continues to expand in both military might and political influence.
Soviet Russia holds a commanding position in the future destiny of the world.
But it was the United States that held the secret to atomic power.
Mr. Truman declares we must have atomic control. The flags of freedom fly all over the world.
This superiority would be short-lived, however, as Stalin was already at work on a plan of his own. While searching for uranium on a tiny island off the southeast coast of the Soviet Union, Russian engineers discovered E-99, a powerful and unprecedented source of energy. Seeing an opportunity for further world domination, Stalin authorizes unlimited development funds to explore the capacities of the substance. Project Director Viktor Borisov establishes an island research station, Katorga 12. For his groundbreaking research, he receives the Order of Lenin. When Nikita Khrushchev succeeds Stalin, he accelerates the program, pressuring Borisov to begin field experiments. However, not only is E-99 capable of delivering unimagined power, it is also incredibly volatile. Yet Borisov is pressured to begin tests. The disaster has no known survivors. Moscow buries the installation, effectively wiping it from the map. 2010. A U.S. spy satellite flying over the area is blinded by a radiation surge. Fearing another Chernobyl, and suspicious of Moscow's secrecy, the reconnaissance mission over Katorga 12 is ordered by the Pentagon.
Singularity starts off with an information dump cutscene that is rather well done. You learn about the pressures of what the Cold War did between Russia and America, but from here is when it changes history. Russia was trying to get an advantage over America, so they discovered an island called Katorga 12 in the mineral E-99. E-99 is basically like magic in this game, since it apparently can do anything, but for now, it's essentially a great power source for Russia, and they want to use it to replace the atomic bomb and make a much stronger weapon. During this cutscene, you also learn about two scientists working on the project, Dr. Borisov and Dr. Dmitriev. I'm probably going to have a hard time pronouncing these names, so I apologize for that. Russia strongly preferred Dmitriev over Borisov as well. After this introduction, you are then flown into the island with another soldier, Devlin, who is voiced by Nolan North, whom I haven't heard in a while, so it's pretty nice to hear him again in the game. Immediately, there is an explosion in the distance which makes you crash land on the island. Pilot's dead and Devlin missing. You then move forward to a building which explains much of what the island is intended for. There's also the point where you may notice some similarities between the games Fallout and Bioshock, with how the projector art styles are set up and audio logs placed around as well. The style works for this game, but I understand why at the time people were considering it just to be a Bioshock clone, but I disagree with that as the game goes on.
The threat from the west is ever present, and here on the isolated island of Katorga 12, we are fighting that threat. The glorious work we are doing will change the world and keep our way of life safe from those who seek to do us harm. Soviet scientists have discovered the answer to our hopes and dreams, the element E-99. E-99 is a rare element only found on Katorga 12. There are many different ways to help the efforts of Mother Russia here on Katorga 12. Your families will live well on the island, and your children will attend schools offering the very best Russian education. Scientific research is the largest division on the island, advancing agriculture, industry, medicine, and the military. Processing E99 is an important part of the island's function, creating the metal, gas, and other forms of E99 we use every day. A strong military presence is important on Katorga 12 to ensure the safety of the island. A workforce that would make every Russian proud is the backbone of the island. From the rail yard to the docks, every worker supports the motherland. All of your contributions will go towards achieving the ultimate goals of our work here on Katorga 12. We must stand as one against the forces of the West. You are the lucky ones selected for service on Katorga 12. We have moved your family for your convenience. We must now stand together for Mother Russia.
As you explore the first building, you see another flash of light, and all of a sudden you are in the same building, but before it's fully destroyed, it is currently engulfed in flames. You move through the building and see a man fall into the floor, and you go rescue him. As you carry him and move through the building, you see a man yelling at you to stop, who I did not see when I first played, and noticed for the first time when reviewing the footage. As you escape the danger and put the man down, you are greeted by Dr. Barasov, and then notice that the man that you've been carrying is Dr. Dmitriev. As I say thank you, a bright light comes again and you are back in the present time. However, the statue that you are currently next to is now fully completed and has the name Dr. Dmitriev on it, and there's a current giant tower of lightning in the distance as well. At this point, you should notice that you are the reason that the future has changed, and you should be on the lookout for possible other changes that may have occurred from you saving Dr. Dmitriev. From here, your goal is to meet up with Devlin at the other side of the school. You then go through a school and learn a bit of the history of the island through in-road flashbacks, tape players, and notes. You learn that they are using some E99 on the youth here separately to see how it affects them, similarly to how Volts and Fallout would have their experiments. Apparently it does cause some people to turn to mutants that you've been seeing around, and the more exposure they have, the more power some of them tend to have. I do like this little section of the game. It immediately pulls you into the road, so you want to see more of what's going on. Once you meet up with Devlin, you then move forward to fight some more creatures as well as Russians for the first time. After this fight, you are then captured by Dr. Dmitriev and learn that he immediately recognizes you and informs you that America that you remember is no longer there in a rather quick throwaway line.
Captain Renko. You are Captain Renko, are you not? Don't look so surprised. Your name's right on your uniform. America's charming penchant for individuality. Now, I have some questions for you.
Name, rank, and serial number. That's all you get from us, Ivan. Check your Geneva Convention handbook.
I did away with that little inconvenience years ago. See.
We are officers in the United States military. I want to talk to someone in our embassy.
I think you'll find that impossible for a number of reasons.
Our embassy, right now!
That's better. How is it you haven't aged a day in 50 years? There is only one explanation. The TMD, where is it?
Run, Reiko. Head straight for the hallway.
He then murders Devlin, which is a waste of casting Nolan North, and then you get to make your escape. You meet up with Catherine, who informs you that she is from an organization called MIR-12, a group formed to find the player character and correct the timeline and see what they are all about.
My name is Catherine. I belong to an organization known as MIR-12. Here, this should answer some of your questions.
We are MIR-12. Our mission is to reveal the truth that's been hidden from the entire world. In the 1950s, a military research base was built on the island of Katorga 12. To this day, the government denies its existence. That is a lie. According to top-secret documents we've uncovered, the base was the site of research involving the mineral E99. The E99 research program was headed by two men. Dr. Viktor Barasov, a top researcher in the field of quantum physics. He didn't live to see the outcome of his work. Reports say he was killed in an unexplained laboratory accident. This man stepped in to lead the program after Barasov's death. He went on to lead Russia in a war for world domination. A war won using superpowered weaponry developed at Katorga 12. Today, We know him as Chancellor Nikolai Demichev, leader of the world government. The events surrounding Demichev's rise to power are still a mystery. Our organization is in possession of a journal that claims Demichev is a fraud. It raises many questions about Katorga 12. What happened there to put Chancellor Demichev in power? What could have caused so much destruction and taken so many lives? Evidence points to this structure on Katorga 12, the Singularity. What is the Singularity? The journal claims one man will lead us to the answers. His name is Captain Nathaniel Renko. It is our mission to locate Captain Renko and help him achieve his goal. We are Mir 12. We will reveal the truth.
From here, the story and what you do isn't all that interconnected, so I'm going to talk about the story beats and some of the things you do to accomplish your goals after. At this point, you learn about a time manipulation device, or TMD for short. It can be used to fix the timeline, so you go about acquiring it. It is at this point you get your main abilities, moving time forward or backwards. It's rather neat. Things that are destroyed can go back to normal or vice versa, and it's the main thing used for every single puzzle in the game, as well as fixing the rest of the tape recorders since all of them are broken for some reason.
Greetings, esteemed colleagues and members of the Politburo. My name is Dr. Viktor Borisov, and I am head of research for Katorga 12. Investigation into E99 is proving more fruitful than I had dared hope. The most recent discovery is that the element can be used to change the time state of items. This is test trial 143 of the time manipulation device, or TMD as it is more commonly referred to. As you can see, the TMD is able to revert items to their original state, or rapidly age them. Care must be taken not to point the device at a living creature. The effect is very unpleasant. I have already begun working on a smaller version of the device. Unfortunately, the TMD will only work on objects that are imbued with E99. I am making great strides in my research and will continue to do so. To communist victory.
I feel this would be a good time as any to discuss the combat. Overall, it feels pretty tight for what you get, and you get the basic assortment of weapons, from pistol to assault rifle, shotgun, sniper, as well as a few power weapons such as Seeker, which I only used once and never wanted to use it again, as well as a grenade launcher and minigun. The only weapons I ever wanted to use in this game were the assault rifle, shotgun, and sniper, since they're the most effective weapons at killing multiple enemies quickly, and you can carry 2 weapons at a time, so you can still swap out depending on what the situation you find yourself in. After acquiring the TMD, you get a task to find the timer to see if you can find Dr. Borisov in the past and save him. Before that, you practice some with the TMD, and then you go find the timer. You then go back in time to stop Dmitriev from killing Dr. Borisov, which seems like you killed Dmitriev in the process, but he's still alive. After saving Dr. Borisov, he basically becomes your partner, since by him seeing that you have the TMD, something disastrous must have happened in the future, and he agrees to fix it. You then go back to the new present with Borisov alive, and are tasked with getting the bomb from that time and bring it back to the past to destroy the Singularity. There isn't much to say on this process of acquiring the bomb. You bring a destroyed ship out of the water using the time powers and then retrieve the bomb. And in order to get it to have power, you have to go back in time to do so. Catherine and Borisov are helping out at this point, but off screen, Catherine is said to have been shot and killed and basically is written out of the plot.
Teams report to Area 6C.
chamber. That's impossible. Oh God, you're right. Quick, open the doors. We have to get him out of there. No, stop. He's got a bomb.
At the end, you place the bomb in 1955, blow it up, and go back to the present to see that nothing has changed.
Trip down memory lane, Captain.
Barisov is there, and Dmitriev shows up to try and kill you both. Dmitriev said all this has happened before, and he built the device again. You then get two choices. One is to kill Dmitriev and go back in time, kill yourself, and this will fix everything. Or kill Barisov and rule the world alongside Dmitriev.
We can still set things right.
Only the victors rewrite the history books. And you, lost.
Only the victors rewrite the history books. That's it! The Singularity is not the problem. You went back in time and saved Demichev from being killed in the burning building. Remember? He's what you changed, and he's what you have to change back. You cannot let Demichev live.
It won't work. You've already tried that. And failed. Don't you remember who else was there, Captain Renko? That other man was you.
He's right, Captain. You are the anomaly, which means the only way to correct the timeline is for you to stop yourself.
You mean kill himself? You're asking a man to sacrifice himself for something you've been mistaken about. How many times now? I'm not sure you're a reliable authority, Beresov.
Renko, don't listen to him. You can save the world.
So you say. But Captain, think about what you were before all of this. A drone in the hive. I can offer you a whole other life. Things you could only imagine. At your fingertips. Give me the TMD. And help rule the world.
Is this a world you want to be a part of, Renko? Look around you! Look at all the suffering this man has caused.
No visionary leader is without his critics.
Renko, he is not a leader. He's a mass murderer, a dictator. You must stop him at all costs. Use the TMD on the Singularity. Travel back in time and kill yourself.
Well, that certainly sounds like an attractive offer. Or you can prove your loyalty to me by killing Beresov. And I will grant you unlimited power. Make your choice, Captain.
My God, he's dead. Captain, you just killed the most powerful man in the world. But this changes nothing.
I want to talk about these endings since I believe there's only one correct choice. With the first ending, and what seems to definitely be the one the game wants you to do, is to go back in time, kill yourself so that you and Dmitriev both die, and revert the timeline. By doing this, your current self also ceases to exist and then you fade to white. After this fade, it is the beginning of the game again, but with some changes. The text starts off in Russian and goes to English. Devlin says this isn't the first time you go to inspect the island and calls your comrade, and you also see the giant statue of Barisov. Here's where my problem lies with this ending. The game doesn't exactly state, unless I missed it, that by killing yourself and Dmitriev, you then let Barisov live in the past. From what I remember, each time you go to the past, it is at the same event, 1955. Barisov was killed by Dmitriev in the previous timeline, but he should have also been killed in this current timeline as well. Dmitriev was also supposed to die in that fire until you changed the history by going back and saving him, so why did the present change anyways?
I never get tired of seeing that.
Hammer 2-1, Hammer 2-1. False alarm. Repeat, false alarm. Your mission has been scrubbed. Head on home.
Ha! What'd I tell you? There's never anything interesting here. Right, comrade?
The second ending has you kill Barisov and teaming up with Dmitriev to rule the world, which I believe is the correct ending to choose.
Chancellor Demichev is the only survivor of Katorga 12. Any mention of Barisov is wiped from history. With the TMD at your disposal, you and Demichev now control the Singularity. Katorga 12 becomes pivotal in Demichev's final push to remove all remnants of rebellion against his leadership. As commander of the military, you forge Demichev's forces into an unstoppable war machine. You even train some of the island's creatures in combat. You use them as a first wave assault in all major battles. Millions are forced into slave labor. With the full power of the Singularity and you at the helm of the military, any pockets of resistance around the world are weeded out. Mir 12 proves difficult at first, but with the TMD by your side, they do not stand a chance. In the years that follow, tensions build within the ruling Russian dictatorship. Your knowledge of advanced weaponry and control of the TMD allows your support to grow. Some believe you are more powerful than Chancellor Demichev himself. Demichev recognizes this and begins a secret weapons development program in the former United States. There are even rumors he's created his own TMD. Conflict seems inevitable as the world once again finds itself in the midst of a Cold War between two superpowers.
You're extremely powerful anyways, and there's no reason to want to change the past by killing yourself, since there's no guarantee that by doing so will actually fix everything. You get a cutscene saying what will happen as you lead armies across the world and conquer everything in your path, and eventually Dmitriev feels that you're becoming too powerful and will try to overthrow you in the future. Possibly they wanted to do this the next game, or maybe DLC, or they just want to leave it ambiguous with the ending. All the endings show Catherine being sent back to 1955, and she is the one that writes the notes in the book that is the basis of MIR-12, which goes to show that anything that will happen has happened and makes it seem that her path is set in stone no matter what. If you played the game, you may have noticed that what I said earlier is a lie. There's actually 3 endings to the game. If you kill both Dr. Barisov and Dmitriev, you actually get to rule the world yourself without ever looking back. Also seems like a fair ending over the one going back in time. Both of these seem like what Raven wanted for a future sequel or DLC. However, after this game, they became a support studio for the Call of Duty franchise. Most of the levels are straightforward in this game. Move forward, listen to someone tell you where to go, find audio logs, shoot some mutants or Russians, and progress. The majority of the game's levels are pretty decent to good, even the 2 boss encounters. However, every game has its problems. This game is these enemies that are basically the Flood from Halo and the Tickers from the original Gears of War trilogy. These enemies made me dislike any level with them after the first encounter. You fall down a pit and wake up to see these creatures. A tooltip pops up immediately suggesting that you use the TMD on them, which at first I only did once because I always prefer to save that power in these kinds of games. However, anytime these enemies show up, they swarm you like crazy and practically kill you in a few seconds. If not dealt with properly, the intended way to deal with them is to use the TMD, which would attract multiple of these creatures to one and they would all blow up together. But on the first encounter, you gotta do this several times, and perhaps it's just due to playing this on the PS3, but I hated this part to the point where I did not want to fight these things anymore. The rest of the enemies are fine, nothing too special about any of them unfortunately, but they made progressing forward feel pretty good. The 2 bosses in this game are also rather bland. The first one is in an arena with a giant creature and you have to throw explosive barrels back at it to be able to do damage with it with your normal weapon. Nothing too special. I feel it didn't need extra enemies in the arena, but they were there occasionally as well. The second boss is a giant centipede-like monster that you fight while on a train. I have nothing else to say about this boss other than it was a decent set piece for what they're going for. The setting of Singularity is by far the main reason to play this game. The Cold War era is a thing you rarely see in video games, and it is done rather well for the most part. Learning about E99 and what all it did was a pretty good motivation to keep you playing the game, other than the fact that E99 can seemingly do anything. It makes people stronger, live longer, cure diseases, make energy, weapons, travel through time, fix relationships. Okay, well not that part, but it seems to be magic. The TMD works as intended and is rather unique for a game using constructing and deconstructing as a puzzle mechanic. As the only other game I can currently think of that ever did this was Epic Mickey. Seeing a pocket of history for how much Russia didn't want America taking over their way of life was interesting to see in a game, even though there are plot holes with this. How come when you see Dmitriev, no one, not even him, questions that you are an American in an American uniform walking around? Even when all is calm during the scene, it isn't brought up. Even though the time shift comes quickly here, it should have been said at some point here. You see writings on the wall here and there during the game tell you keep moving, find the bomb, escape, and even don't trust her. This one must be referring to Catherine, but I don't see how since she doesn't even betray you and she's the one legitimately helping you. From what I understand, it is another version of you that plays these messages from another timeline, but I don't really buy that. Which is also why I don't like time travel media. The man you saw at the beginning of the game, which was you, can only be there if you chose that specific ending. But with how time travel should work, anything that can't happen will happen, so if you don't go back in time at the end, that should have never happened. Perhaps I'm looking too much into some aspects of the game, but I always do that when it comes to time travel. Singularity is definitely a decent one and done game. I'm glad I got to see it through, even though I felt rather disappointed in the final options for the endings. Going through the lore was interesting and the gameplay was engaging enough to get through, other than the flood-like creatures. I did try the multiplayer just to show it was dead, but I happened to find a game with people boosting trophies in it randomly, 10 years after the game came out. From the few minutes I saw of this, it actually seemed interesting, but not needed for the overall experience of the game. Maybe worth an hour or two of your time at release.